So you've seen it in the news recently. Companies like Tesla, BMW, Nissan, and others are now turning normal gas-powered cars into electric. But that does bring up a question about the future. Will self-driving cars handle severe weather and keep you safe, or will they not? So on this episode of the EF Show, we're going to dive in deep and see what makes an electric car different from a gas-powered car and how they perform. So we are also considering some hybrid cars such as Prius, some other models of Tesla and BMWs. Prius is a good example because it does run electric, but it also runs on gas. So we will be just kind of averaging them out, but looking at really the extremes of the two of them. But most of these vehicles have standard horsepower control and some other functions that are very close, if not the same, as normal gas and diesel powered vehicles. Now, trucks are out of this picture because, they all run differently. Four-wheel drive, they're heavier, and they're built differently. So we're going to be looking mainly at small SUVs and cars. But let's talk about electric cars. So looking at some statistics on how they run, both gas cars and electric cars add up to be 20% of all car crashes. So 120 horsepower is how much a gas car runs. Most electric cars are 107 horsepower. So looking at it, you already see gas cars have a bit more chutzpah behind them, while electric cars, they're silent, they make little sounds, so they kind of run slower. Now, speed is not a part of this, but we're really considering reaction time, grip, because the Teslas and everything, they have a gradual speed up. They are a very computed process that goes through many different stages, while the gas and diesel powered vehicles are a different type of transmission, and they will take stages to run up rather than going through a program of stages. They will just build up as you control it. So Tesla made news in 2013 about their 3-vehicle fires involving its Model S. So we're looking at the Model S for the electric cars. We're gonna be checking out the an Audi car for the gas one. And so back in 2013, as I said, there were 3 vehicle fires, and critics were quick to jump on the conclusion that those cars were combustible and unsafe. A closer in-detail search found that the crash data, all the fires were a result of drivers running over roadway debris that has directly damaged the battery cells, but no one in the vehicles were injured in any of the accidents. The NHTSA supported the conclusion that had the same roadway debris stuck in a vehicle without battery cells in their aluminum plate protecting coverage. So that means that everything would be covered no matter what, and that same debris would still catch fire because no matter where it's going, it's near the friction of the tires, and it would still catch on fire. So crash testing, the IIHS and NHTSA show that the Model S Tesla performance just performed as well and as comparable as other gasoline-powered vehicles in most side impact collisions, and better than those comparable gas-powered models in front and rear crashes. So actually looking at the safety for crash rating, Teslas are better. So, that could just be how they're built. It could be multiple reasons, but it could also just be a coincidence. But mainly looking at the front and rear impacts, that's because, you look at the engine and stuff, there's less to fly around in an electric car because it's just a battery. So these electric cars run lithium-ion, Li-ion batteries. The power sources for all electric vehicles are flammable. They contain a liquid electrolyte that stores energy and can overheat and combust with prolonged exposure to raw conditions. So you're gonna have to look at it whenever you're getting a car. Or do you live in a really hot place, really cold place? But most of them should be fine no matter where you live. Li-ion batteries pose far lower risk of fire or explosions either. In most cases of vehicle fires that were a result of damaged Li-ion batteries, the fire was limited to the area where the batteries contained before it could be extinguished. So most of the time with this, they aren't catching the entire car on fire. They are just at the battery cell itself. So you check you check the videos online and everything. You look at news articles, and most of these big car crashes with gas-powered cars hit the back gas tank, and the whole thing explodes. This is a very small, contained area, so they are already safer on that part. The NHTSA concluded that a likelihood of passenger injuries in crashes involving electric vehicles is actually lower, meaning that they are safer to passengers than those involving vehicles with gasoline and diesel engines. That's from allenandallen.com. So we'll check and see how they compare after this break, and we will also see how they do in extreme weather in situations. For this, we will have to look at two cars, one electric, one gas. The electric one will be the 2019 Tesla Model X, and the gas one will be the Audi S3. So now I know these can be a bit pricey, but we want to look and see at the best technology performs in different types of weather, and we will compare them to what the car of the future could be. So looking at this, we want to see what fully autonomous vehicles will be and how they will keep you safe, or even gas-powered ones, how they will be in the future. So that's why we're testing the Tesla Model X and Audi S3. So looking at the Tesla, it's actually better in the snow. A quote is, it's better in the snow, particularly when it's on the correct tires. It's like driving an electric cinder block. There wasn't one iota of concern that Model X would have an issue. Due to weather conditions, autopilot doesn't function. As explained, when I pick up the car, if the array of sensors can't see the lane lines, the cars around it, or really anything, then the function will not be allowed to work for any safety reasons. So autopilot of the future, we could see a problem with this, because if it is relying on completely clear situations, then it won't be able to change lanes. Now, that will be a thing that we will have to see in the future on if there is GPS sensors or anything else, because, this autopilot is wonderful. It's a great idea. But the problem is, whenever you don't have these sensors on them that can detect amount of measurements, but they need to see actual color variation, you will have a problem whenever you get rain, snow, hail, anything else on the road, even paint, because they won't be able to see exactly where the lane lines are. So you're going to have to look and see in the future, do these car companies end up implementing a measurement system into the cars that will allow it to detect, okay, let's just say a lane's 10 feet wide. Okay, we need to make sure that this is 10 feet wide, and that's what will keep it in there. It'll be able to see on Google Maps what it would have been like on a dry day. And so it's quite interesting. In the Tesla, there is something called a ludicrous mode. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's ludicrous. It goes really fast. It is, on the other hand, not restricted in weather conditions. That is because it is purely speed. It is not sensing much. So the programming on the Tesla's stability and traction control is secretly impressive. The whole point of it here is that it's safe, and that is a rousing success. Cold temperatures deplete the battery quicker, though that's true of all electric cars. So you have to keep this in mind. Most of these cars and vehicles talk about how, they will perform less in a colder situation. And you have to keep an eye on that too, because sometimes whenever the little gas gauge or electric power gauge says that there are 20 miles left, you might not have 20 miles. And that is something with the new release of the Cybertruck announcement that Elon Musk did a few days ago, that it's quite interesting to think that can actually add up to 15 miles with solar panels. That's a great idea, in my opinion. You could use solar panels to get a few extra miles in that. So even on cold days, if you are in a place that has some sun, you can actually still keep going. And it's kind of amazing to watch some of these cars. And the Model X has the largest windshield of any production car, but the windshield wipers aren't the largest. They're actually standard size. So you come across the problem of, not being able to wipe off the entire windshield. And those are quotes from the Tesla Model X, the Nor'easter test, at roadandtrack.com. And so it's quite interesting, what about gas cars of the Audi S3? And, these normal gas cars have the coverage of the windshield wipers, so that's not exactly a problem that we need to be concerned with about the future, because that is a one-time thing. But let's go ahead and skip up to the gas cars. So we found the Audi S3 to be phenomenally good with going when the going got slick. Instead, it uses the also tried and true Haldex clutch-based system used in many of the other Audi cars. So this system is popular among Audis. They are built in with it, and yeah, there was never a moment where it felt like all four wheels were not on the same page from AudiWorld.com. There was never a hint of slip or other than what we asked for it. Concluding with, ultimately, we're thrilled for the smallest of one of the S cars to come with the USA. Feels like a true S car should in all weather. That's from the winter test, Audi S3 at AudiWorld.com. So after another short break here, we're going to look and see at how these cars perform when braking. The Audi S3 has larger brakes, meaning that they will last longer and be more sensitive to help keep you safe if needed abruptly. These disc brakes help the car to stop faster instead of creating more friction. They grab and hold to slow the speed in less time. The Tesla Model X tracks dead straight with no steering corrections. It exhibits a very mild nosedive, significantly less dive than many SUVs, and has almost no noise from the ABS braking system. It's very calm and stable experience from within the cabin. Heavy regenerative brakes occurs when you lift off the accelerator pedal in normal setting, which means that the brake pedal Sorry, my whole thing just went crazy here. Which means the brake pedal actually feels pretty natural and easy to modulate even when you're using it for stopping. So this is talking about when you slam on the brakes, abruptly hit the brake button, or even emergency brakes and everything. You see the cars lurch forward. That's a nosedive. Now the Tesla doesn't have that as much. Now the Audi S3 doesn't have as much as one either, but it is still significantly more than the Tesla. So instead of transitioning through weird mechanical braking phases, braking distances are consistent, solid, and stack up well in the class. That was from the 2016 article on the upcoming Tesla Model X 2019 long-term road test. So this article is written way before and it has been updated since then, and that is the new data I just read to you. And that's from Edmunds.com. So comparing the two, Tesla has the most consistency when it comes to braking, which makes it safer and a more reliable vehicle. Though they don't have any larger brakes, Teslas are made with a new type of material that will last longer. It isn't easily affected by water and debris. So let's assume that these futuristic autonomous cars and vehicles have all of these amazing protective features that will keep you safe and make your driving/riding experience better. And so, discussing semi-auto cars, you see the ones that are on Corollas and stuff. You see them in many Nissans, BMWs. They park for you, brake for you. They have sensors and many different types of camera views. And, these cars are all amazing because, they can do the little stuff for you. But really looking into the future, if we dive into this, we will have the best of every type of vehicle put together, because as knowledge gets passed through the industry, they will add and apply this knowledge to all of the new vehicles. And so we will see a giant production of massive amounts of safety technology, and we will see all these different types of software programs you could put in, and all these different cars coming with different setups that will keep you safe. That really, no matter what, it will be amazing. It'll be an amazing experience, because we will see not only a number of deaths caused by car crashes go down, but car crashes themselves. And that's something I think is amazing too, is the fact that when we look at the future, few ideas on things that could be happening in the future. Cars will drive you, so the chairs will actually be turned around. There won't really be a front of the car. It'll just be a car going, and you will be able to talk with everyone else. You put in a destination, and it will get you there. And with all these sensors and everything, it should be safe. And there is some doubt about all this, because how safe can it truly keep you? But looking at everything, it will keep you safe, in my opinion. They just need to work out a few tweaks in there. And, another amazing thing is, with these cars driving, they shouldn't crash. And I've speculated over time and looked into some stuff. And in my opinion, I think we'll end up with like a magnetic system where all these sensors be pushed together, and to a smaller vehicle. We'll get down to even Mini Cooper sizes, of where, whenever you get close to another car, the sensors go off and maybe a magnet will propel it. So we'll be like bumper cars, but with no contact. And that will keep everyone safe. And hopefully we'll see this number drastically drop, maybe even be eliminated altogether of car crashes. And that will save people money, save lives, and many things in the future. And looking, you'll see things like semi-trucks, or already like Amazon's using vans that are eco-friendly. We will see all these new inventions and implementations being put into new vehicles, and that will allow us to be able to be safer and help save our environment, and some cool things will come out of it in the future. And it's amazing about, you think of like these inches of snow and things, and we will come up with new ideas. And the true car of the future is going to be based on stuff that we find out now. And that's something, you have to learn from the past to be able to improve on the future. And we have to look and see what's wrong now, and let's fix it later. Or not fix it later, but let's start fixing it so people in the future will be able to be safe. And what's amazing is that they're already coming out with a few technology improvements that will allow actually tires to kind of repair and heal themselves. And so this is a type of tire that's made out of a material, you've probably seen it in fabrics before, but it actually kind of heals itself. And so let's say it goes it drives over a nail, it will actually kind of redo itself where that hole was, and it'll cover itself back up. So there won't be a need for another spare tire, any flat tires or anything. It'll actually keep you safe with that. And I think that's kind of cool, because even control and down to the detail, you will be safe. And this is something that is quite interesting, because we bring up the idea of wind and tornadoes and everything, and can cars, actually have a system that helps protect you even in these horrible situations. And wind, you feel it driving down the highway. When you get wind gusts of 60, your car shakes a little bit. If you're parked anywhere and they get a heavy wind gust, your car will shake. Even in the middle of a cornfield, if you're driving full speed, even a light wind gust can move your whole car. But thinking about, heavy wind gusts and things, and when severe storms are becoming more prevalent and frequent, we will see more of these situations and more incidents causing and being caused by heavier amounts of rainfall and wind. And that's where all this technology will come in to kind of override the system and help keep the car where it is and driving straight. And that's something that you see on most of the Storm Chaser cars and things. Great example is Reed Timmer's Dominator series of cars that, they drive in the tornadoes. They have a suction cup that they kind of sit into the ground with. Who knows, maybe even tires will have ideas that they could stab into the ground. Remember watching on the old show Storm Chasers, there was this one tank looking SUV, and it had these spears on the side of it that dove into the ground to hold it there. And imagine if a car could do that. Could keep you safe down to the exact second that you need it. And that's something that when we look into the future could be amazing. And it's it's crazy to think of what the possibilities are with all this. And really looking forward in the future, you picture, the Jetsons and everything, those old TV cartoons, and, what they predicted the future was going to be like, and how they were so different and so wrong. Back to the Future is a great example. But, really, you can't predict it. It's going to be something that none of us are going to expect, but one day it'd be amazing to see all of these be able to come together and create an amazing vehicle that'll keep everyone safe. So I wanted to thank you all for watching again, and to let you all know, I will have a hiatus going on here for the next week. We are going to be having no episodes through Thanksgiving, and our schedule will pick back up starting next Friday. That should be the first week of December, the first Friday in December, and then we will go again through the end of the year. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed some of the music from today. It is a kind of not an off-brand, but a version of Interstellar done by an Interstellar brand, and they are a really good production music company. If you want no copyright sound, you can go to their website, link below, and of course check out our social medias. And I want you all to have a great day and happy Thanksgiving, and make sure you are staying safe on Black Friday. You know it is a mess out there, and we will be talking about also later on at the end of next week's episode about looking back on Black Friday and holiday travel this year. So stay tuned for that and have a great day.